All right, family, it's your boy Josh back again with another video. And today we are talking about why the iPad mini is so useful to me. So I've used an iPad Pro the last couple of years, and that particular device has been perfect for my workflow. But whenever I try to use it on the go, the iPad is just a little bit too large. The larger iPad was just a little bit too heavy for me. And whenever I was using it, I felt like I had to carry it around with a backpack. This new iPad mini, it's all about that size. Yes, there were a few trade offs. You don't have an awesome high refresh rate, deep blacks, great looking display, but I feel like the size overall makes up for all of those issues. Yes, I carry a iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I'll typically have a larger Android phone like a OnePlus 13. But when I tell you, whenever I pick up this iPad mini, I just feel like the device was made for me. Those larger phones, they have an aspect ratio that is made for phones, right? So whenever you try to read books and take notes with two hands in landscape mode, it just doesn't feel right on those larger cell phones. But whenever I pick up that iPad mini and start reading one of my favorite books, it really locks me in. And I love that about it. It just has the perfect aspect ratio for reading articles, reading books, even watching YouTube videos. The YouTube videos themselves will have pretty large black borders on the top and the bottom of the display. But of course, you can maximize it, right? And make the YouTube videos bigger. But I feel like, yes, watching videos is excellent on the iPad mini, but I feel like it excels more in the reading category. So, web pages, reading emails, answering emails, reading books, it is fantastic for that. And I feel like that's one issue where the iPad Pros lack. The iPad Pros make it up with the multimedia ability, but it just does not compete. I feel like I can just throw it in my backpack and not worry about it. It's stupid light, it's stupid small, and it just fits exactly where it needs to go. You can throw this iPad in your purse, and as long as the screen is covered or has a screen protector or has some type of sleeve, I feel like it can fit in a lot of different purses and satchels and things like that. This iPad can even fit in your pocket if you had pockets that were large enough for that. So I think that that's really cool. I would recommend this iPad to every single person in the world if it had an AMOLED 120 hertz display. Apple, get on it. Now, I also use this iPad mini quite a bit for my YouTube channel. So when it comes to making thumbnails, editing photos in Adobe Lightroom, even editing some smaller clips for my YouTube videos, I feel like I can do a lot of that better portably on my iPad mini than I can on my iPhone. Now, I typically won't create my extremely large projects and edit them with my iPad mini. I'll typically save it for either short form content or creating clips that I can add into my larger long form video whenever I get back home and I can work on my Mac. Now, I also typically use it for my YouTube comments. So, YouTube Studio on the iPad mini is great. I can connect the iPad mini to a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, and I can go in and actually respond to you guys in the YouTube comments. Same goes for emails. It just gives me a very large panel to work on whenever I am working remotely and I'm not working on my computer itself. If I really wanted to, I can actually go in and set this iPad mini up on my tripod and film videos just like this with the iPad mini. I can connect my iPad mini directly to my Mac and upload all of my documents, all of my video files and photos directly onto my Mac for video editing. There is so much you can do with the iPad mini, but I feel like for the majority of people, it is a really good Kindle replacement that allows you to read your books and articles, but at the same time, giving you the ability to go in and play games or respond to emails or things like that on the side. Now, speaking of gaming, this device is also very good at gaming. So you can actually connect up a Xbox or PlayStation controller to it, throw this guy on some type of stand, and play all of your games in 60 hertz. Now, with this A17 processor, I haven't noticed any issues gaming. I feel like it handles every game I've thrown at it very well. I'll typically play Call of Duty Mobile, Call of Duty Warzone, and Genshin Impact. Those are typically my three games And this iPad handles those games very effectively. And keep an eye out because at the time of recording this video, Apple actually has the iPad mini on sale. Now, since this is an Apple product, I know Android has gotten better with tablets over time, but with this being an Apple product, you know that the updates will not stop for a very long time on this iPad. The iPad mini 7 came with an A17 processor, and it also comes with 8 gigs of RAM. So it does support Apple Intelligence. Now, I haven't used Apple Intelligence too much on this device. Whenever I use Apple Intelligence, I would typically use the writing tools feature and have Apple Intelligence and ChatGPT create things for me. So, for example, make me a list of the best iPad mini accessories. And ChatGPT and Apple Intelligence will actually spit that out for me onto Apple Notes as an example. Or I can go in and ask writing tools to read over my paragraph I just wrote and tell me if there are any changes that need to be made. Those are typically the main features I use Apple Intelligence for, and you can use those features here on this new iPad. Now, for me, I am a stickler for high refresh rate displays, and this iPad does only have a 60 hertz display, and I do notice it, but I feel like for me, it's not really that big of a deal. And that is hilarious coming from me because I have been such a stickler of a higher refresh rate for the longest time. But since the OS is so consistent on iPad OS, I feel like it's not that big of a deal right now for me. Now, I would love it. I will absolutely love it whenever they finally bring a higher refresh rate to the iPad mini. And as soon as they do, I'm going to get it. But as of right now, it's not that big of a deal. Now, I will say that Jelly Scroll is very noticeable to me still on this iPad mini 7. I feel like for some reason it was actually worse on the iPad mini 6, but I do still notice Jelly Scroll on the iPad mini 7. So do I think the iPad mini is worth picking up in 2025? I think so. I think if you're looking for a tablet, especially one that you can take with you anywhere you want to go, whether you're traveling and you want to read and watch videos, not only content consumption, but also people like me who do a little bit of content creation, I think that this iPad is arguably better than the iPad Pros because of one reason: the price. The new iPad Pros start at $999, which, like I mentioned, the iPad Pros are amazing, but the barrier of entry has been expanded to where this iPad at this price just feels like a better deal. Now, obviously, there are other iPads out there, right? The iPad Air, the regular iPad, etc. But I feel like the iPad Mini is the way to go because of its size. Let me know what you all think about this iPad Mini. Let me know if you own one, and if not, tell me why down in the comments below. I appreciate you watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and like this video and check out my other videos as well. And if you like this type of content, then go ahead and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.
Smile until I look away. But I've known you too long. It hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.